continues to be so. So on the back of that, in fact, Credit Suisse, they're quite positive on the stock.
All right, Nigel, thanks very much for that. Also, DLF is a stock we're tracking. The company plans to reduce their debt by offloading some stake in 2 of their projects. Manasvi Gilani has been getting these exclusive details, and she now joins in on the line. Manasvi, debt reduction plans on track. What are these 2 projects they're talking about now?
Absolutely, Mara. You pointed that out. This is a part of the debt reduction plan. In fact, what we understand is that one is going to be a stake sale to GIC, and they understand there's going to be about 25 to 30% in their Delhi project, which is Capital Green Phase 2. And this is for about 800 crore rupees. The other project is in Chennai, which is going to be sold outright to GIC and Ascendis. That's the JV that GIC has with Ascendis for about 700 crore rupees. It's called Sidle Park. It's an IT SEZ. And what we understand is that at this point in time, Ascendis is looking to redevelop that. So going forward, it could be anything else apart from the SEZ that's existing there. So this, like you said, it's a debt reduction plan, which we know that it's standing about over and about 20,000 crore at this point in time. So this will be a big boon for them.
All right, Manasvi, thanks so much for that. Moving on to Ekta then. AstraZeneca has gained in trade as it's launched one of its diabetes drugs in India. How big is the opportunity?
Well, it is a fairly big drug for AstraZeneca. More than that, it's actually quite an important drug for them to have launched in India, because they have mentioned that it is a breakthrough treatment for type 2 diabetes. And to put things into perspective, India has one of the largest populations in terms of type 2 diabetes in the world. So globally, this particular medicine, which is launched by AstraZeneca, which is called Forixtra, is basically globally the first medicine in the SGLT2 inhibitor class to receive regulatory approval anywhere in the world. So SGLT2 basically is a sodium glucose co-transporter 2. To put things into perspective, it's basically found in the kidney, and it reduces reabsorption by the kidney, and hence it's basically a drug which effectively removes glucose via urine, and this is something which is not very easily applicable in other drugs. So it's basically it's a novel drug for the treatment of type 2 diabetes, and it's a once daily oral medication. And like I mentioned, it's globally one of the first drugs to receive regulatory approval. It's approved in more than 40 countries, and 63 million people are affected by type 2 diabetes in India itself. So you can imagine the potential of a drug which is expected to be a breakthrough drug.
All right, Ekta, thanks for that. Also, after the big move yesterday comes the big crack today. Varinder, what's happening in Surana Solar?
Well, it's very sad. We reported even yesterday, that it was a namesake identity of the big bull Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, who actually bought and not the man himself. The stock cracked 37% from intraday high yesterday. The stock is even down nearly 20% in the trade today as well. The important thing to watch yesterday was that if you just see the data provided on NSE in terms of bulk deal data, there were people who were selling in the market. The total traded volume on NSE and BSE was nearly 80 lakh shares compared to average of only 1 lakh shares. So clearly there was someone who was selling stake in the open market. Delivery of nearly 14 or 15 lakh shares, it has never happened. The delivery volumes are less than 80-90,000 shares. So clearly someone sold a big chunk in the market today. There was Meena Kevlani who sold 5 lakh shares at 51 rupees. There was buy and sell trade, which was executed by 2 people. Chirag Pujara was one, and there was one more. So even volumes today are nearly 5.5 lakh shares, and the stock is down 20%. As I said, it is sad that many retail investors have been just stuck in the stock and really don't know when the circuit will open. But the way the stock has moved down nearly 57% from yesterday's high is just amazing.
Yes, indeed, Varinder, and thanks so much for spotting that stock for us. While the cash volumes are on the lower side, we've seen a lot of trading taking place in the futures and options space. Agam is here with a quick check on the F&O buzzers.
So to take you through some of the key counters which are buzzing in trade on the back of a lot of volumes in futures and options, particularly open interest build up. First up, we have Asian Paints, where we're looking at a good 3.5% increase as far as open interest is concerned. That's where we're looking at fresh shorts building up on the back of the weakness in the markets. Then we have the usual suspects such as HDIL, where open interest is up nearly 6.5 to 7%. We're also looking at JSPL, where open interest has increased by as much as 2.5%, with fresh selling coming along there. Adani Power as well as RB Infra also adding as much as 2.5% towards fresh shorts. However, we also have some counters which are bucking the trend in today's day of trade, where we have Dish TV, which is holding its own, up as much as 3.5%. Open interest has also increased by 5.5%. We're looking at fresh longs there, and we're also looking at fresh buying in TVS Motor Company, where the stock is moving up as much as 1.5%, but we're looking at a 5% fresh addition towards open interest, towards fresh longs. That's what we have in terms of some of the F&O buzzers for this hour.
All right, thanks for that, and thanks also to our entire research team for highlighting all the stocks which are buzzing in trade as of noon. So let's quickly recap them for you. There's Tata Motors, Bank of Maharashtra, Nalco, DLF, AstraZeneca, Surana Solar, Asian Paints, HDIL, as well as Jindal Steel and Power.